Hello and welcome back, my fairies. I'm Matsuorific, and we are back with another episode of Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Chat Noir. This looks to be episode 12, Reckless Driver. Interesting title, interesting name. And I guess this must be an episode, I'm not really sure who this episode is about. I don't recognize whoever that is in the thumbnail. But I was alerted to the fact that this episode was out when I saw that TVC made a review. And I'm seeing the girl that is friends with Aurora. I forget her name, but I don't think it's her getting akumatized. I'm going more off of spoilers from TVC's thumbnail than anything else. But, I guess we're gonna get to learn more about this character, which, you know, I feel okay with how she was first introduced. It felt more like back in season 2 when they would have a character kind of in the background in one episode, and then the very next episode would be our actual introduction to that character, and we actually, like, learn about them. Like, for example, Clara Nightingale, we actually see Marinette watching her music video in the previous episode before we actually got the episode where we met her. So I feel like her introduction in that episode with Aurora was actually better than what we got with those Nothing Burger bullies. I'm still salty about that. I'm still gonna call them the Nothing Burgers because they are a trio of Nothing Burgers. But, like, this girl, even though I don't even remember her name, the episode wasn't really about her. None of the focus was really about her. She was basically, you know, there to play the role of Aurora's supportive friend, but the episode was about Aurora. And so I'm okay with how she was introduced. A lot better than the Nothing Burgers from last episode. But hopefully we'll get to actually learn a bit more about her. I am interested in learning more about her. She looks like an interesting character. Maybe we'll get to see Aurora again. Who knows? But again, I don't know what's going on with the trailers. I haven't been seeing any of the trailers coming up at all. So another one where I'm going in almost blind, except for the thumbnail spoiler. Thanks, TVC. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go watch the episode, and I will be right back. Okay, so that was a lot, but a lot of good, only a little bit of kind of nitpicking, honestly. But, like, it's still I have one nitpick. One. And it's does kind of poke a hole in bad writing, so it is a point towards the episode. But we'll get to that. So this episode is about Aglaé. I finally know her name now. We see, I'm assuming the villain at the start of the episode is probably August, because we start out the episode with the heroes are fighting a giant lollipop monster that destroys the train tracks, and Vesperia has to, like, try and stop the train, and but, like, the Akumata, it looks like it might actually be August. Like, they don't show who got akumatized at the start of the episode, but I do think it was probably August because it's a giant lollipop monster. August was never akumatized back in seasons 1 through 5, because he's like 2, but he would be like 3 now, so he's at least a little bit older. And we saw Alia's sisters get akumatized before, so it's very possible that this is August, because he's the only one that we've seen who's, like, who's never akumatized, but he had multiple senti monsters, and there were always the giant lollipop monster. So, I don't know, this is kind of a fan theory. This isn't my nitpick, by the way, but I kind of think that this might be August at the beginning of the episode here, because it's a giant candy cane monster. Or not candy cane, but, like, it's a giant candy monster made of a lollipop and marshmallows and cotton candy. Just lots and lots of candy. But it destroys I'm just gonna say he, because I'm pretty sure this is August. But he destroys the railing, and Vesperia, she uses venom on the train, but it doesn't really seem to do a lot. I think she might be like stopping like whatever the mechanism is that keeps it going, probably. That might be why she used venom. But then she gets in front of the train and tries to stop it, which is kind of reminiscent of when Chloe first got the Queen Bee Miraculous, but she started the train, she started the subway accident, and couldn't stop it on her own. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it just kind of felt like a little callback. But Aglaé falls forward because the train kind of, like, she manages to stop the train from falling over completely, but the front of it is leaning over, and then the glass breaks and Aglaé falls through. But then Ladybug comes along and saves her, and she starts freaking out. And at first I'm thinking maybe this is like some sort of touch aversion, because like she starts freaking out, telling Ladybug to let go of her. And it's like, you're okay now. No, you need to let go. Let me go. And she just runs away, just kind of freaking Ladybug out. So she, after the credits, or the opening sequence, at school as Marinette, she and Alia start tailing Aglaé to try to figure out what exactly was going on with her. And we see Aglaé is tending to some of the rooftop garden plants. And a ladybug comes along, and she starts freaking out again. Marinette and Alia come over and find out that it's a fear of insects that started as just a fear of butterflies because of Chrysalis. And she talks about how, she thought that it reminds her of when she got akumatized, and how, she had... she stopped going to school because of Hawkmoth, and then when Monarch was defeated, she finally felt safe enough to come back to school, and then Chrysalis comes along and starts akumatizing people. But she's, ever since she got akumatized off screen, she's had this fear that she's going to get akumatized again. And she tells Marinette and Alia about this, and eventually they talk to like their other friends as well, because she has another freakout session at lunch when a fly buzzes by. And Max, oh my gosh, you guys, I love this scene. So Max suggests that she sees a psychiatrist and tells her that he knows that it works because he goes to one because he's on the autism spectrum. Guys, we got autism, we got actual autism representation, not just headcanons in the show now. And you know what? It makes sense that Max is autistic, because he does kind of come off as being neurodivergent. I've spoken before about how I think that Kim might be autistic, and now we get confirmation that Max actually is. I absolutely love this, because Max does a really good job explaining how neurodivergency works, how he sees the world differently from people who are neurotypical, and speaking to a therapist helps him to deal with, learning how to see the world and being able to see from different points of view through a neurotypical lens, and understanding a neurotypical world that we live in, because we do live in a world that is very heavily geared towards neurotypical people. So neurodivergent people like Max and myself do have a hard time exploring the world, and they do a really good job of explaining this. I wish I could show the clip, but unfortunately, that's the whole reason why you guys are watching Pokemon right now, is because YouTube is notorious, especially here. I've not been able to release a single video with clips that doesn't get taken down, so I can't show the clip, unfortunately. But he talks about, all the ways that, going to therapy has helped him. And then we get some other people speaking up too, like Julika speaks up, Milen speaks up, and later on we find out that even Alia has seen this psychiatrist. I don't remember if she said this specific psychiatrist, because she said that she used to have some major family problems, but that, you know, they've long since been resolved before now, which is why she never told Marinette about them. But they all convince Aglé to go and see this therapist, who, yeah, Max, Julika, Milen, and Alia all know who this therapist is. Actually, no, I think she does actually acknowledge Alia when she comes out. Oh no, she doesn't. She just acknowledges Milen, Max, and Julika. So I guess this is so now. Sorry, I liked this episode a lot, and it's got my brain really scrambled because I'm really happy with this episode. Aside from that one nitpick, which again we'll get to later, you kind of have to go through the episode in order for me to be able to explain it properly. But they're all there with her. The therapist at first is surprised to see everybody there, and they're like, "Oh no, it's okay. You only have one patient. That's our friend Aglé." And so Aglé goes back to talk to her, and they talk more about the importance of seeing a therapist, not just for like phobias and stuff, but you know, all the different things that therapists can help with. And I am honestly really glad that we have an episode like this in a popular kids show. It's like, we've had neurodivergent characters in the past, but it's very rare for kids shows especially to acknowledge the need for therapy. I can only think of 2 shows in the past 30 years aimed at children that have had some sort of episode about mental health and therapy. And even then, like, only one of them was in passing. The first being Hey Arnold, Helga on the Couch. It's a very famous, well-known episode where the bully girl, Helga, who's also got a huge crush on Arnold, goes and speaks to this therapist and talks about her home life and stuff. I won't go too much in depth about that because it's a video about Miraculous, but that was like one episode of one show, and then the only other time I can think of where it's actually acknowledged that a main character is going to therapy is in Steven Universe Future. We get a line about how Steven's going to stay talking to his therapist in the final episode. And that's it. Those are the only 2 instances that I can think of where a character has actually spoken to a therapist. If anyone knows of other examples, I'd be happy to read about them in the comments below. Definitely tell me if I'm wrong, if you can think of another show where something like this happened. Actually, no, there is a third one that's coming to mind. I can't believe I wasn't thinking about this before. Static Shock. We also see Virgil talking to a therapist after what happened in the events of Jimmy, the school harm episode, to put it in a way that YouTube will allow me to put it. Literally, those are the 3 times I can think of, and only 2 of them have a character actually talking to a therapist on screen. But none of them really explained in great detail, as much as this episode does, why therapy and taking care of your mental health is so important. And in 2025, I think that is actually a really big, important thing for kids to understand. Is that, you know, talking to a therapist, it's not a bad thing to admit that you need help, because a therapist can help you in ways that other people can't. And they even acknowledge this as well in the episode, where everybody is talking in the waiting room about, you know, how therapists can help people. Because Marinette is asking all of these questions. Marinette is basically the audience stand-in in this moment, asking all of the questions to receive answers for the kids. So she's asking the questions that hopefully kids will ask after watching this episode, and getting these kinds of answers and explanations about how therapists can help a wide range of people. It's more common for therapists to have their own specialties. So it's not quite so realistic for one therapist to be helping with all of these different issues, with Max's neurodivergency, with Julika's communication issues, with Milen and Aglaé's fears, with family issues. Those, like, some of them can overlap, but usually stuff like, there's like therapists with their own specialties. Like, some therapists specialize in families, in family therapy. Some specialize in neurodivergency. And obviously they couldn't, they're trying to make a point that's easier for kids to understand. A kid's not going to think, oh, that's unrealistic. A kid's going to watch this and come out learning more about therapy. And if they have questions, then that's a question that they can ask their parents or their school counselor for. But they also bring up an interesting thing. And I was almost so mad at Marinette for what she says here until I realized, okay, they're just doing this so that it's more for kids watching to understand why therapy is so important. Adrian is hearing Alia talking about how she was able to get help with some family issues that she had, and Adrian's like, do you think I could talk to her about my father? And Marinette, I paused the episode to yell at Marinette about this. She tells Adrian, well, why do you need to talk to her when when I'm here to talk to you? You can always talk to me. And at first I was so mad. It's like, oh my gosh, Marinette, if he wants to talk to a therapist, let him, because if he feels he needs to, it's so important. And then Alia comes in, like they're reading my mind. Alia comes in and is like, actually, Marinette, it's great that Adrian has you to support him, but there's only so much that you can do. And she makes this really great analogy about a maze, where, like, if Adrian was in a maze and has these ghosts that are chasing after him, it's a great Pac-Man reference too. It's like, pretend Adrian's in a maze and he's got these ghosts chasing after him, and you're able to dispel the ghosts. Well, you can only dispel one ghost at a time, but then the ghost is going to come back, and you can try and keep dispelling the ghosts, but that's not going to get him out of the maze. But the therapist will help to guide him through the maze out the exit so that he no longer has to worry about the ghosts. And it's like, oh my gosh, yes. And I immediately forgave this, because, like, okay, now I understand. Because they're still using Marinette as a proxy for the audience to ask the questions that the audience might be asking. Well, I have a support system, so do I really need to speak to a therapist? And the answer is, yeah, you should still talk to a therapist even if you have a support system. Like, I'm not able to afford to go to a therapist regularly, but I have a friend who, I'm not going to name or say anything about them, but they go to therapy, and even though they have me and our other friends to talk to, they still talk to this therapist because there's only so much that I and our other friends can do to help them. So the therapist is able to help to fill in all of the other gaps that we lack in, because none of us are trained in therapy and can help them in the same way that a therapist can. So I'm honestly kind of like, I never questioned their needs for a therapist, to be honest, but, like, I'm sure that there are people out there who do question it. I know that there are people. I know somebody in my family, again, I don't want to give too many specifics for their privacy, but someone in my family actually did speak to a therapist once because of some serious thoughts that they were having, and they didn't really, because the therapy didn't help them immediately, they kind of chalked it up as, okay, well, I don't actually need this isn't helping me, so I'm just going to stop going. But, when you're having those kinds of thoughts, you definitely do need to speak to a therapist, and I do kind of wish that they had continued, but that's neither here nor there. Adrian, after hearing Alia talk, Marinette is like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, if you need to talk to her, I'm always here to support you, but, and he's like, yeah, okay, maybe I will talk to her. And she's like, okay, yeah, I'm here to support you. And I do like that, because, like, Marinette is a fixer. And I don't mean fixer as in she is capable of solving every problem you come across, but she is a person who, if she sees a problem, she wants to fix it, even if she can't fix it. And that is something that gets her into a lot of trouble. We know that. We've seen that. We're dealing with that right now with her trying to fix this whole thing of Adrian's dad being Monarch, but she can't fix it. And I hope that they do continue things along these lines. I wish that she could see a therapist about all this. Unfortunately, I understand why Marinette can't talk to a therapist about being Ladybug and everything with Monarch. Even if there was a therapist through the Order, you know there's not. You know the Order doesn't have therapists. Oh gosh, can you imagine if they did? Oh, that would be great, honestly. But, like, if she could, it would be so helpful for her, but it's understandable that she can't because, like, she can't tell anybody about it. But anyways, sorry, I've been rambling about this for so long already. Only 7 minutes into the episode, I'm sorry. But anyways, I just really want to take a moment to talk about how great this was handled. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to be like, hey, Marinette, that's crossing a line. But I think they handled it really well because because Marinette was a proxy to the audience at this point. But anyways, back to the plot of the episode. Aglaé tells the therapist that, she stopped going to school when everything was going on with Hawkmoth, Shadowmoth, Monarch. But when he was defeated, she finally started going back to school again because she thought that she didn't have to be afraid of butterflies anymore. And it's like, okay, so I guess Aglaé was the first person akumatized because this happened because she thought it was only safe to go to school because there was no chance of getting akumatized again. Which means that nobody had gotten akumatized yet since Monarch was defeated. And that is the important thing, because we then see a flashback of her going to school and finding out that there's a butterfly room at the school. And she's like, okay, I used to really love butterflies. Maybe I can go in here and it'll be safe because I'm not going to get akumatized. I can't be akumatized. And the Nothing Burger trio comes along and starts bullying her. But question, if she was the first person to be akumatized, then that means that this is before anything in Season 5 has happened yet. Nothing from Season 5 has occurred at this point in her flashback. So how is a character who just transferred to their school during Daddy Cop in this flashback? Continuity director needs to do their job because he shouldn't be here. I would be okay with Bully Black and Bully Brown. If you missed the last review, that's what I've been calling them because we don't even really know their names. Kim says one of their names twice and it's blink and you miss it. These guys are nothing burgers, honestly. But they push her in there, and gosh, I just can't get over, like, what is this guy doing here? He shouldn't be here yet. But they push her in there because they recognize that she's afraid to go in, so they open the door and push her in. It's like, what? Are you afraid of butterflies? And then they, well, I guess they don't really push her in. They just, open the door and then they lock her in there so that she can't escape. And then she's so afraid of the butterflies that she attracts the first Mega Kuma and gets akumatized. And this is another thing. Why didn't Alia and Nino go and talk to her about getting akumatized? Because we still haven't really seen Miss Bustier having gotten akumatized yet. We have, like, we know that they actually, no, that's another thing. Because Miss Bustier, when Alia and Nino were interviewing Miss Bustier, they talked to her saying that she was the first person to get akumatized. But in order for this backstory to work, Aglé would have to be the first person to get akumatized. Because if Miss Bustier got akumatized before this happened, then she would not have returned to school, and she would not have been willing to go into the butterfly room or go anywhere near it because she would still have that fear of butterflies. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh gosh, it's even worse than I initially thought. My friend Dem, I was watching it with him, and he suggested that it's possible that Bully Blonde didn't actually just transfer in before he confronted Zoe at school, that he might have been there for a while. And it's like, okay, that is possible, but if you need a headcanon to explain it, it's still bad writing. Like, you guys know, I will defend this show when it does good, and it's done a lot of good, especially in season 6. But these past 2 episodes have been, I like the episodes themselves, but the nuances of the episodes bother me. And just take me out of the moment. But, yeah, that's there is no getting around the first akumatized person thing. Because, like, okay, if Miss Bustier was the first person akumatized, then Aglé can't be the first person akumatized. And if Aglé is not the first person akumatized, then she should have known that she would not be okay with going into the butterfly room because of her fears. And she would have felt that it was too dangerous to go back to school again. Anyways, so in the flashback, she got akumatized. She doesn't remember what happened, obviously, but she's heard, like, other people talking about it. And also, I do think that this could have been a great opportunity for them to have shown off, like, Pegasus's old outfits. They've been showing a lot of the older costumes. Like, they do show Ladybug and Chat Noir in their new costumes. And Pegasus is also in his new costume. But, she talks about hearing about, you know, what happened and, you know, how she was attacking other people and not just the bullies. And then Ladybug came along and defeated her and deakumatized her. And ever since, she's been afraid of getting akumatized again. And that fear has developed from a fear of butterflies into a fear of bugs, and just a fear of going outside in general. And then she points out that, so we get a callback to all the way back in Season 1, Episode 5, Timebreaker, where apparently she was there when Timebreaker got akumatized. And I kind of want to go back to that episode to see if I could see anyone who, like, looks like her in the background, because I think that would be kind of fun if she was actually there. Obviously, they wouldn't have been thinking this far ahead back then, but it still would be kind of cool if she was. But she talks about how when she was akumatized, or when Alex was akumatized into Timebreaker, Aglé, literally disappeared in that moment. Because Timebreaker, you know, touched her and she disappeared. That was Timebreaker's power. She would touch you and absorb your energy, you would disappear, and then if she touched and absorbed enough people, then she would be able to travel back in time to save her watch, which, again, was a continuity error on its own, because if that was a Miraculous, how was it destroyed so easily by her skates? Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. But, yeah, she's been afraid of akumatized villains ever since, because she talks about sitting there, and this is actually kind of interesting. You know, all that other stuff aside, she talks about sitting there, disappearing, and thinking that this was it, that this was the end of her life, and how afraid she was. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, what a thing to go through. Like, they never address that. They're just, like, in the original episodes, they're just frozen when they're disappearing. But, like, apparently they were conscious while they were vanishing, and it's like, oh my gosh, they were... What a thing to go through. I hope all those other people got therapy afterwards, because that sounds so scary. I cannot even imagine. Oh my goodness. But again, like, she pulls out her phone and it's like, take a look. It's like, this photo of me. Where are you? Exactly. Timebreaker, she made me disappear. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, but ever since then, she has been terrified of things happening. Apparently there were Akuma sent after her, but she shut herself in her room to try and avoid the Akumas and being akumatized. And she's just been so terrified of this ever since. And you know, it makes sense too, that this would affect some people so harshly. And even Marinette has acknowledged, like, I forget where exactly in the episode she acknowledges it, but she talks about, like, Alia had talked about how, you know, you fix things all the time as Ladybug, and Marinette's like, yeah, but there's some things that even magic can't fix. And it's like, yeah, that's very true. I do like that they're actually acknowledging that just because Ladybug fixes all the physical damage, it doesn't undo any of the emotional damage that's done. So, it's another, like, really great moment of this episode. It stinks that the continuity is off, but aside from the continuity issues, this is a great episode. But anyways, Aglé is talking to the therapist, and she's like, you know, thank you for sharing this with me. We're gonna work on a plan to try and figure out how we can help you. And Aglé freaks out again. It's like, wait, you're not gonna fix me today? It's like, well, no, there is no magic fix. It's great that you're eager to get started, but there is no magic fix. It takes time, it takes work, which is very true. You know, again, going back to what my family member went through, it takes more than just 1 or 2 sessions. And it's not even that they're fixing you. A therapist cannot fix you. They can only give you the tools to help you live with what's going on with you and get through your hard times. Like, a therapist would not be able to fix my autism, but they would definitely be able to help me navigate. Just like how Max can't have his autism just magically fixed, but seeing a therapist helps him to deal with the world and to understand it better. Helps Mylène to get through her fears and to not be so paralyzed by fear and let fear rule her life. To help Juleka find her voice. She's still shy and she's still soft-spoken, but she is a lot more vocal now than what she has been before. She's changed up her look to be a lot more bold, and like, it really does show with her design that with her new design, that she has a lot more confidence than she had before. And I guarantee a huge part of that was from her talking to this therapist. I just absolutely love how they're handling the mental health in this. Miraculous always does mental health really well. Like, a lot of people are mad about how Marinette's mental health issues are depicted, but like, it's... If you have anxiety anywhere close to Marinette's, it can be so debilitating. And even people with anxiety can't always understand other people's anxiety that well. Anxiety is like autism, it's a spectrum. Anyways, so at first it kind of looks like maybe Aglaé's gonna get akumatized because she's panicking like this, but then it's actually the therapist who at first is like, no, get out of my head, I'm not going to help you hurt people. And of course, Chrysalis, gets in her head because she's a master manipulator. We've known that ever since we first met her. But she's like, "Oh no, I don't want to hurt people. I want to help people, and I can give you the power to magically help people." You're right, there is no magic fix, but what if there was one? What if I give you magic to cure people? But, if you don't want it, then I guess I could always take my gift and leave. Which, of course, gets her into be like, okay, fine, I'll try it. And she accepts the Akuma. And Reckless Driver, is her name. I should have guessed that it was going to be a villain name, but, like, Reckless Driver? I guess it's just weird to have that be a villain name. Some of the villain names are a bit off. But at least Monsieur Aggress was a name. But Marina is like, okay, I need to go transform, but Adrian is here. I'm gonna hop on this bike and go chase after them. Adrian's like, oh, okay. Hey, and he goes behind. I love this scene with Plague. He goes behind an alleyway to transform, and Plague's like, you just want to play superhero so you can go save your girlfriend. It's like, don't tell me you want to play Cat Noir and rescue your girlfriend. And Adrian's like, precisely. It's like, dang! Plague calling him out, Adrian's like, yup, that's exactly what's happening. I love that. No, let's not go save Agley or deakumatize this other person. No, let me go show off for my girlfriend. Oh, I love Adrian. But anyways, he transforms to go help Ladybug. Agley is, on the bike trying to get away, and she uses this. Oh my gosh, this is scary. Like, my neck hurts just watching this animation and seeing that it happens multiple times in the episode too. She, launches this helmet out of her car, grabs Agley by the head, and then drags her off of the bike with enough force for her to not hit the ground, and yanks her into the car, again, by her head. Oh my gosh. She's lucky she didn't if she did suffer severe injuries, Ladybug at least would have healed it, but oh my gosh, she's lucky she didn't break her neck here. Good lord. But she draws her into the car and hooks her up to it, scans to see what her fears are. It's like, oh, butterflies and insects. And it's like, okay, well, let me just drain the fear right out of you. And it's like, okay, that fear is gone, but now she's, really reckless. And I guess that's where the name comes from, She's encouraging people to be reckless and, not be afraid of anything. So I guess it's kind of like Risk. Oh my gosh, it actually is kind of like Risk. Wow. Except that it's one person at a time. She literally launches Agley out of the car. She at least has a parachute. Ladybug goes and catches her and is like, well, Reckless Driver cured me of my fears. I'm no longer afraid of anything. I'm gonna walk off into the street. La 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 la. It's like, oh, okay, but you should still play it safe. She's like, nope, I'm not afraid of anything. There's no danger. She healed me. Woo, it's amazing. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's basically Risk. So, yeah, Ladybug calls Cat Noir and he's like, yeah, I'm already after them. And we see another person got sucked up into the car that she ejects. And Cat manages to save him. And the guy's like, yeah, I was afraid of cars, but now I'm not. Let me grab this lawn chair that's right here and go sit in the middle of the street and sunbathe. Cat Noir's like, no, that's really dangerous. What? But the sun's here. Okay, but the drivers have eyes. They can avoid me. Like, oh my gosh. You are literally a tree in the road. Get out of the road. You're gonna cause an accident. Oh my gosh. Oh, that scared me. Oh my gosh. Oh, that gave me anxiety. Like, oh. So Shaw rejoins everybody else. We've got Pegasus. So yeah, I guess, yeah, everybody who was there when she got akumatized there for Aglé. So we got Pegasus, Lady Tigress, and a Multi-Mouse. Or not Multi-Mouse, Polymouse. I watched someone else's video the other day, and they were talking about Polymouse, but they said they called her Multi-Mouse, and I'm just sitting there thinking, Polymouse, not Multi-Mouse. Now I'm making the mistake. But anyways, so yeah, we got those three here, and they're all kind of helping too. They all have, well, and also Reina Rouge is here too. They all do have their own role to play here as well. So they're not just there to help give more context about therapists, they actually are helping as their hero selves too. But, like, she, you know, just kind of, you know, reckless driving. Ladybug gets a Lucky Charm as a sandwich, and for the first time in a really long time, we get, like, what am I supposed to do with this moment? Like, she didn't actually say, what am I supposed to do with this? She's like, okay, I don't think this is gonna help. And it's like, oh my gosh, hey, it's her not knowing how to use the Miraculous or the Lucky Charm right away. Missed that. I mean, it's great that she eventually, like, learned that, you know, obviously she's gonna figure out a way to use them, but, anyways. So Rena creates a maze after Polymouse fails to stop her by covering the windshield, and Lady Tigress unfortunately misses with her clout. So Reina's got her going through this maze, and at the end of the maze, Pegasus uses his voyage to get her, you know, into the water. And Cat Noir goes in, transforms into his hideous aqua form, and gets caught. At least Shot has his super suit to protect him from whiplash. But, yeah, apparently his biggest fear is having his identity revealed. So, which, kind of makes sense. Like, his biggest concern right now is his dad, but it understands that, you know, this would be his biggest fear, because he knows that he wouldn't be able to be Chat Noir anymore. But, fortunately, the machine doesn't actually say what his identity is or give any clues as to who he is. It just says that his biggest fear is having his identity revealed. So she drains that fear out of him, and we find out what the sandwich is for. Pegasus uses Voyage to get Ladybug inside the car, and Shad is like, oh, Ladybug, you're here! I'm no longer afraid to tell you that and she shows the sandwich in his mouth. It's like, okay, that's really clever. I like that. And it's like, don't talk with your mouth full. And he, of course, I don't know why he didn't spit it out, but it's like, okay, yeah, fair. But Chrysalis manages to convince her to take his ring. But fortunately, the other heroes show up and manage to stop her. There's not really a whole lot more to the fight after this. They destroy the car, they find the Akuma, and Ladybug reassures the therapist that, you know, she's helped a lot of people before now, and that, you know, they're with a lot of different problems, and that there's more people out there waiting for her help, and that even if there is no magic problem that'll solve it immediately, even if it takes time, she has faith that she'll be able to do that. And it's like, that's great. I like that little message at the end there, because there's also a stigma that therapists don't need therapy. But, like, a lot of therapists will even tell you that as a therapist, they also go to therapy because they also have to take care of their mental health. Because, yeah, you can understand a lot of stuff, but sometimes sometimes you need an outside person to help you through things, even when you are a therapist. So I'm glad that they included that scene of Ladybug encouraging her, because, like, yeah, therapists need to hear these things too. And then we get the shot of Lila in her cave again, and, like, it didn't hurt me before because you can never really see the desk, but this one we get a shot of the desk with poor Nuru paralyzed on the desk. It was like, oh, why would you show me that again? Like, oh my gosh. Oh, poor Nuru. Oh, why would you remind me about that? Oh. But anyways, we do go back to the school with Aglaé and all of her friends and the therapist, and you know, they help her to, you know, it's like, yeah, it's okay to be afraid. Fear is a good thing. You know, it teaches us to be cautious, but sometimes our fears get out of control and turn into phobias, and can prevent us from being able to live our lives. But that's why you have people to help you, why you have your support system. And you know, she's like, yeah, and you already have this great support system with your friends. So they all form a circle around her, and help her inside the butterfly sanctuary. And, you know, she just sits there for a minute, soaking everything in until one gets a little too close to her and she's no longer comfortable. So she's like, okay, I want to go back now. Like, she can't really vocalize it too well, but Marinette can sense it's like, do you want to go back now? And then she says yes. And it's like, that's great that they're, you know, watching for these signs to see if she's uncomfortable, so if she can't vocalize, they can help her. And it's like, that was a great moment. I loved that. And they come out and she's like, yeah, that was a great start. You know, doesn't matter how long it takes, we're going to help you, and you don't have to do this alone because you've got your friends with you. And then we get our post-credit scene, and oh, thank goodness. So this is when Adrien is actually going to talk to her about his dad, and Marinette's even there to support him, and she's actually just there as support. I love that. I love that she's only there to support him. She's not trying to fix the problem herself. So yeah, she did learn from talking to Alia that, yeah, it's important that Adrien be able to speak to the therapist himself. Unfortunately, we don't get to actually see anything about this therapy session, but we can also kind of assume what they're talking about. Adrien, you know, says at the end, you know, there's something strange about my father, and we know from Monsieur Agreste that Adrien has doubts that because he can't see his father as the type of person who would sacrifice himself for the greater good, and he finds it suspicious what Ladybug said. Now, and while Marinette cannot talk to this woman about this, Adrien can, because for Adrien, this isn't a superhero problem. This is a personal problem, as Adrien Agreste. It's not Cat Noir's problem, it's Adrien's problem. So I'm really glad that Adrien is able to speak to this therapist, because he's got a lot of baggage to open up, and I am so glad that at least he's able to get help. I've been saying for years that Adrien needs therapy. Like, oh my gosh, he's finally getting therapy. Yes, we just need therapy for Marinette. Again, I know why she can't have therapy about the things she really needs therapy about, but she still needed therapy about the Chloe stuff. And oh my gosh, I completely forgot to say this. Guys, I was so excited when the therapist was speaking to Aglaé and was like, I spoke to your father before, and he told me you were having these issues, but I want to hear about them from you. And it's like, oh my gosh, a parent in Miraculous recognizing that their kid needs therapy. And it's like, oh my gosh, Tom and Sabine, you guys no longer have any excuses. You guys no longer have any excuse. Where are Tom and Sabine trying to get therapy for Marinette? Cause like, there's clearly a therapist in town that the kids are able to get to on their own. So why weren't they having Marinette talk to a therapist when she was so traumatized from Chloe's abuse that her self-confidence was through the toilet, was in the basement? Like, her self, Marinette's I've spoken about this before. A lot of this is stuff I've spoken about before. But, like, Marinette in the Origin Special has negative self-confidence because of Chloe's harassment. It's only an even... Like, it takes 2 victories as Ladybug for her to finally start getting some self-confidence back, but even also having to hear everybody else tell her that she is good at what she's doing. Because the first victory gave, you know, she couldn't appreciate the fact that she won. She's like, yeah, but I was awful. And it's like, oh, the girl needed therapy. She still needs therapy, but like, even before she became Ladybug, the girl needed therapy. Oh yeah, that's yeah. That is Tom and Sabine's failing. They have no excuse now. There is a therapist here in Paris. Get on it, you two. You love your daughter. Get her the help she needs. Anyways, I have rambled on for way too long at this point. So, and a lot of it being just kind of outside of this episode too. But yeah, all in all, a really good episode, not just as an episode of Miraculous, but also as a message to the audience that there's nothing wrong with accepting help from a therapist, and that therapists can help with all sorts of things, and that it might not help you right away, but stick with it and give it a chance, and you'd be surprised at how far you'll go with a little bit of help. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos from me. We do all sorts of fun stuff on this channel, playing video games, we do art, and I'll sometimes talk about cartoons and anime, so if you enjoy the stuff, then be sure to ring the bell icon and never miss a video. Thank you guys for joining me today. Damn, I'm still used to streaming. Have a magical day, everybody.